Hey everybody, this is Tim with a Song of Ice and Fire update. Uh, just a little update on the old channel here about what I've been working on. Um, Finished one unit of cavalry. They were up on a different video. And this time I'm working on a bunch of the character models. And I got a little thing to put him on. Let's do this. And we got Brendan Tully here. I did him a little different than a lot of guys are painting black and stuff. I want a little more color on him. Ooh, let's bring him over on this side. Base is real simple. Didn't put a lot of snow on that base, and snow is going to be a little bit of a topic here we're going to talk about. And then I have Sir Roderick is done. Focus in there. Focus on Roderick. There we go. His cloak looks a little black, but it's more of a real dark gray. So he was fun to paint. All these models are just great to paint. And then I did Eddard. And with Eddard being the Lord of the North, I wanted some snow on the base. And so this is what brings up this topic of how you get the snow to look like snow. The first few units I did for my Starks, I would just put down a layer of the snow. And if you look at it, I'll take this archer for example. If you look at it, it looks very thin. You know what I mean? It's got that very thin coating of snow. And it came out almost like a dirty gray color. I didn't like that. I just was not. I'm not satisfied with it, and they're going to have to be redone. I'm just not satisfied with that sort of grayish, dirty snow look. I wanted something a little whiter. So what I did was I came up and I wanted something a little thicker, you know, a little more fluffy looking, as it were. So what I came up with was you get your model. Now I like this stuff. It's Tester's model putty. And so what I do is I'll just take some of this, and like with Eddard's base, I put some putty around where I want the snow to be, and I kind of smooth it out down along the edges. You want to make sure you do that, because when it dries, sometimes you can have like some where it kind of comes up a little bit, and you'll have like a little gap between your base level and the base itself. So make sure you slope that stuff down really well. And I let that dry. I usually let it dry overnight. And then the next step is to take like some white glue. I just use Homer's glue all, and cover it real good and give a nice liberal sprinkling of whatever snow product you use. Now I use this Woodland Scenics, this soft flake snow. Let's do that. There we go. That's what I've been using. It's very fluffy looking, and this is just one layer on the base for the snow. And you see, kind of, if you're level up, it kind of covers up the boot level and that sort of thing. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. But the next step, now that this is still in the drying process, the next step will be to go back and put another layer of snow on this, you know, as deep as you want it to be. And then what I do is when I go to seal it, I use this Tester's lacquer. And what I do is I spray it, but I have to spray it from a distance, because what you want to have is that lacquer coming down like a fog on top of it. Because if you hold it too close, it'll just blow your snow right off, because it's not going to be glued on. You're just thumping it on there. And what you get left with is this nice rounded mound of snow. And depending on how big your base is and on how much snow you want, that just depends on how much you want to apply to it. Now, obviously, when you do something like that, it's going to be a little bit more fragile, and you're not going to be able to just sit there and just scrape on it or something, because it will come off. But for what we do and the way I do my models with magnets and everything, there's not a whole lot of handling of them, especially like with Edward, if he's an NCU or something, once or twice, you're not picking them up and not banging them around in the box. So if you don't want, let me get a good one here, this thin, let's do this, that thin, dirty snow look, then my suggestion is you build your base. Now, whatever you want to use for the base, I just use this because it's easy to work with. It dries really hard. It kind of adheres of itself. You can use spackle, wallboard filler, that sort of stuff. Mix in your white glue with it if you want to do a little mixture stuff like that. I know guys do it that way too. But what you want to do is build that up. Make that the base of your mound on your base. The base of your mound. I think you know what I mean. It's the base layer. Then you let that dry really well. You put another layer of the white glue on your first thick sprinkle of the snow. Now, like I said, I like this one. It seems to work fairly well, and it keeps that white color, especially when you do it thick. And then after that first layer dries, you take another layer and sprinkle it on really thick, and then you seal it down with your lacquer. And that way you get that look of the kind of the fluffy, thick snow. And what I think people really want to see on your models. And like I said, these poor archers, this is one of the first units I did and trying to do a snow effect on them, and you can see that's just not. It's not what I want out of it. It's not what I want. It's okay, across the table you look at it, dang, got some wrong white, and I prefer something a little fluffier looking. Okay. Well, that's enough of that channel update. I hope everybody's weekend goes well, and I hope everybody is enjoying their games of Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire. Oh, my next project will be a unit of Tully's Sworn Shields. I found out in some scenarios it's good to have something that can stand there and take a punch, because my sworn swords, they don't take it very well. But hopefully these guys will do a little bit better job of that. But everybody have a great weekend. This video went a little bit longer than what I wanted it to, but at least I got to everything I wanted to say. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.